Hey, blessings, fierce butterflies. It's Coach Renee. How y'all doing on this beautiful day? I want to say thank God for a brand new day. Brand new day equals brand new mercies, and I thank God for them. Today I wanted to come in and share the promises of God as it relates to His grace. One thing I'm learning about God's grace is that it is limitless. I'm telling you, God has grace on top of grace on top of grace on top of grace. But all we have to do is ask for it. When we humble ourselves and let God know, you know what, God, this thing that I'm going through, what I'm dealing with is bigger than me. I can't handle it on my own. And the only way for me to be able to get through what I'm going through, I need your grace. I'm admitting before you right now that I am weak. I'm not strong enough to get through it. But if you just give me your grace, God, I know I can get through what I'm going through. See, God's grace is available when we humble ourselves and when we ask. And let me tell you, we need God's grace for every circumstance we go through, big or small. A lot of times when people see that you go through hard times with such character, a lot of times they try to make you think you're a superhero. So you get people that don't understand about God's grace, and they come before you and they say, oh my God, I don't know how you got through that. You're a strong woman. You ever heard that before? You're a strong woman. I hear it, let me tell you, I hear it so much till sometimes before they can get it out, I tell them to stop. It's not that I'm strong, but it's that I depend and I lean and I trust in the grace of God to get me through what I'm going through. I recall and if you're new to my channel, I encourage you to check out my old videos because I shared a lot of my life and a lot of my testimonies. And one testimony I shared, I talked about my 19-year-old son who was murdered in 2011. And I recall it was months after I had buried my son. A good friend of mine came up to me and she was like, can I tell you something? And I'm like, of course. So she tells me, she said, I have never in my life seen anybody go to their child's funeral and hold themselves together the way I seen you do it. It was like you was at such peace. And I'm going to tell you now, it's not that I was at peace, but I'm going to tell you what I told her. Because you had to know that if I'm at my son's funeral, you had to know that I was going through a lot of turmoil. It was a lot of chaotic things going on within me. But I knew in order for me to get through it, I knew in order for me not to lose my mind, I knew in order for me not to break down, before I got there, I had already told God, God, I'm not strong enough to get through this. I'm not strong enough to handle this. And if you don't give me your grace to get through it, it's no way I'm going to survive it. It's no way I'm going to be able to walk out of there. They're going to have to take me out on a stretcher because I feel like my world has ended. I can't go on no more. I don't know what to do without him. That's my son. I gave him birth. I don't know how I'm going to be able to go on with this pain that I carry. So in order for me to get through it, God, you have to give me your grace. And so this is what I told her. I say it's not that I'm a strong woman like you say. But it's because I leaned on, trusted, and relied on God to get me through. So it wasn't my strength. It was God's grace that I asked for, and He gave it to me. And not only did He give it to me then, He continued to give it to me because although I buried him in 2011, I hope you know that the pain is still real. I hope you know that I miss him on a daily basis. And sometimes I still cry. I don't cry as much as I used to cry, but I still cry, and I will always cry because a part of me is missing. But again, by God's grace, He fills that void. He fills that space, and He strengthens me to get through what I'm going through. My God, let me tell you something. When I started doing these scriptures, do y'all remember I said, now I won't be elaborating. I just thought about that when I was talking. Never tell God what you won't do, because he's gonna always make you eat those words. So anyway, let me go ahead and give you these scriptures regarding the grace of God. The first one is coming from James 4:6. He gives more grace. Therefore, he says, God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Our second scripture is coming from 2 Corinthians 12:9. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in your weakness. And the last scripture is coming from 1 Corinthians 15:10. But by the grace of God, I am what I am. And his grace, which was bestowed upon me, was not in vain. But I labored more abundantly than they all. Yet not I, but the grace of God, which was with me. And that's what I want to encourage you all with today with those scriptures. I pray that these scriptures are manifested in your life. As always, thank you for watching. I want to say welcome to all of my new subscribers. Thank you for joining us. And as always, let's remember to be good to ourselves, and let's be good to one another, because it makes the world a much happier place. Remember that God's grace is sufficient for you.